Africans are some of the most talented people in the job market, but yet, for some of us, we are still struggling to transition over into remote work and even thrive in remote settings. Why is that? Hi, my name is Ingashian and I'm the Career Whisperer. And I've spent the past 5 years of my career working primarily remote roles and managing remote teams across the entire world. And yes, I know that the things that I'm going to talk about in this video are not unique to Africans in any way. Even though Africa has 54 different countries and hundreds of different cultures, we have one unifying factor that really shifts and changes how we interact with the work environment, and that is our education system. You see, the African education system dramatically changed during colonization. When colonizers came into Africa, they found a creative, independent thinking, highly skilled population. But that wasn't going to work for them and their very selfish ambitions. And so they changed the education system to serve them. What that meant was our previous education system was changed to be more focused on teaching people how to do things under authority as opposed to how to think independently. And while this is changing over time since colonization, most of us still went through that system and are still suffering from the negative effects of that system. With the rise of remote work, there are certain skills that are required to be able to thrive in a remote work setting. But unfortunately, those skills were literally beaten out of us in school. Unlike an in-office environment, remote working requires a very high level of self-reporting. This means that you have to talk about the things that you're working on and your own performance proactively and consistently. Unfortunately, for most of us, we have been taught to not speak until we are spoken to. We have been taught to not answer questions we've not been asked. And communication is usually one way, from authority to you. That makes it very difficult for most Africans to self-report proactively. Fortunately, there are many tools that could help you be better at self-reporting. One-on-one meetings with your manager, creating a brag documentation, ensuring that you're documenting every single thing that you're working on and constantly talking about that with your manager is really the secret sauce. This next one is not unique to Africans in any way. It's something that as humanity, we are struggling with as we navigate the remote work environment. Self-discipline. In an in-office environment, you have a set time for coming in and a set time for leaving. Your manager is also always around the corner, so they can come in and check in on what you're doing. They can pop in and see what you're working on at any given time, which could lead to a higher level of self-discipline. You're also surrounded by people who are working, and so the entire environment seems productive, which could make you a little bit more productive. While in a remote setting, you have to do a lot more self-management and you have full control over how you spend your time for the first time in your life. You see, when you were a child, your parents determined how you spent your time. When you were in school, your teachers told you how to spend your time. When you are working in an in-office setup, your manager tells you how to spend your time. And if you're working remote for the first time in your life, it's also the first time you have full control over how you spend your time. And while you can be a lot more productive while working from home, it's very easy to fall into patterns that could lead to a lot less productivity. Self-reporting and proactive communication are very closely interlinked. And thankfully, there are a lot of systems, structures, and tools you can use to become better at both. And the last 30 days of my 90-day career challenge are all about this. Grab the workbook in my description. In order to maintain a high level of discipline with remote work, you have to be very good at planning ahead, and you have to be best friends with the calendar. Putting every single thing in your calendar, whether it's a block of time to work or to eat or to stop working, is an integral part of remote working. Finally, in order to thrive in a remote work environment, you don't just have to do your job very well. You also have to be technically proficient. More importantly, you have to learn how to use technical tools like project management software and collaborative tools to report on your daily progress. Most of us are relying too heavily on the output of our work to speak for itself, when in many instances, that's usually just a very small fraction of your performance review and your progress. The 90-day career challenge workbook is jam-packed with useful resources and tips and links to ways you can become better at remote working. So don't forget to grab it in my description. And if you like this video, subscribe, like, comment, and share.